Securing a job in today's workforce with unemployment relatively low, it sounds easy peasy. Just go apply for something you're qualified for and then start working. But for a segment of Florida's population, it's not that easy. We're talking about those who have been convicted of a crime, especially a felony. They have completed their sentence and their debt to society, and they're out. But the roadblocks can be numerous. So what can be done to help streamline the process and make it easier for those seeking a second chance to attain gainful employment? Yeah, let's talk about that right now. This week's guest we have from Volusia County, Councilmember Matt Reinhardt with District 2. Welcome back to the show, Councilman. We really appreciate that. And we have Janae Olds. Janae is the Director of Workforce Operations at Career Source Central Florida. Been there about 13 years. Awesome. So thank you and welcome to In Focus for the first time.
Thank you for having us.
You too. I'm so curious about this topic here. I want to start with you, Councilman. Some people might be thinking, what the heck does our councilman know about second chance opportunities? And you know a lot. Give me your background.
A little bit. Before getting elected to council, I had a 30-year career in corrections. Started that career in 1986 as a corrections officer and retired in 2017 as the warden. And one of the most frustrating parts that I saw during that 30-year career was the recidivism rate and how many inmates returned to custody. And I'd often ask them the question, why? I thought you had a plan. I thought you weren't coming back. And most of them will say that. And the answer that would come across most times was that door just kept shutting. Every time that I'd fill out an application, they wouldn't hire me because there was that stigma that was attached with the fact that they had been even arrested, not just convicted, but even arrested of a charge. So during that 30-year career, to back up a little bit, we had an inspection process for our jails, and I was part of that team, and we went to jails throughout the state of Florida. And there was one in particular that caught my interest down in Manatee County, Florida. And they had an inmate farm. And they had a lot of work programs. It wasn't just a farm per se. They had an embroidery shop. They had an upholstery shop. They had an engine repair shop, a welding thing. So there were all kinds of businesses. So I said, I brought that back and I said, I'd like to do that in Volusia County. Well, there really wasn't an appetite for whatever reason, whether it be financial or whatever the case was. I wasn't in that driver's seat to dictate that. So when I got elected, I ran on the platform of finding, it was post-COVID. You saw all the businesses that the doors were shutting. Nobody wanted to work. When we went back to work, I said, how can we bridge that gap? Taking what I know in corrections and what I'd like to do with second chances and those opportunities and fill those positions. So I said, now I'm in a position where we can start that farm in Volusia County. But our staffing levels wouldn't allow that initially, back when I first ran in 2022. So I didn't want to sit on my hands. So we started, I partnered with Barbara Ann Hegan from the Port Orange South Daytona Chamber, gave her this idea that I had, and we came up with the name of the Second Chance Initiative. And she said, what if we did a job fair at the jail? It's never been done before. We can invite local businesses that can come to the jail and interview these folks. And we did our fourth one. We did them every quarter. We just did our fourth one this last couple weeks ago. And it started with little mom and pop type businesses, and then we started inviting bigger businesses like Amazon and Trader Joe's and Coca-Cola and businesses like that. And our participation went from about 20 inmates to 60, almost 60 the last time.
Awesome.
And we learned from that. When we first started this, it was more about inmates just wanting to get out of their cells. So we wanted to tell them, this is the jobs that are coming. What interests you? What do you think you want to do? And we had to go out and sell that to those businesses too. And a lot more people are being open-minded to hiring individuals.
There's this Forbes article that's saying there seems to be an attitude shift with employers right now. Attitude shift meaning more tolerable. So Janae, what types of conversations then, to that point, Councilman, are you having with these businesses to kind of give these folks a shot?
So when we're talking to businesses, we're really talking about the talent that they're bringing to the table. Really talking about the skills that they possess. So we work with all of our career seekers to make sure that they have those soft skills that employers are looking for. And then if they need to be upskilled, we work with them as well, getting them to training and helping them, partnering with our training providers so that they can get the certifications that are needed that the employers are also looking for. Telling them that this is a great talent pool and they're ready to work. They have the soft skills, they have the time management we teach them. They have conflict resolution. We're working with them on that. We're working with them on their interview skills. So when they do go into the employer, they know how to answer those questions. So really getting the employer intrigued and interested in getting them in front of these individuals to say, here, let's talk to them. You can have one-on-one conversations, bringing the employers into our centers and exposing them to the participants. So connecting talent and business together.
And it's almost like some of the employers, though, might feel if they've done it once, they're going to do it again, and they're going to do it here to my safe space, my place of work. How do we deal with that stigma and that even that safety aspect? Because again, these ex-cons, they're not, mass murderers per se. There could have been a financial thing. They messed up with trespassing, right? So how do we address that, Steve Constable?
And that's a great question. One of the things that when I was doing the interview process about trying to get these careers, these jobs there, they had that reservation, that hesitation about that. And I asked them, I said, let me ask you a question. In your career, how long have you been here? And they would tell me an extensive amount of time. And I said, in that time frame, and you only hired individuals with no criminal history, how many of those did you fire or had to let go due to stealing or things of that nature? And it made them think. They didn't give me an answer, but I said, so what we're doing, I can tell you right now that these individuals that have had so many doors shut in their face because they weren't given that job opportunity, they're probably going to work harder for you. And that made them at least think. Now, did we sell everybody on that? No. But you are getting, when I made the emphasis of getting some of these bigger businesses there, that and this awareness that we're bringing to it now, more people are apt to, wait, well, let's give it a try. And let's at least talk to them. That was the purpose also of the job fair. Wasn't so much to write out an interview, to fill out an application, but it gave them the opportunity to actually meet them one-on-one before they stepped in their door.
So the reemployed seem to be less likely to reoffend.
Exactly.
And that's, so let's get into the specifics, Janae, too, of these programs. So kind of unpack that a little bit. So for someone who's watching, they're struggling right now. They've been trying to find a job. They just don't know the right way, the resources. How would you guide them to really zone in on something that interests them?
Oh, I'm so excited. So CareerSource has an array of programs that we offer to combat this and really help with the barriers that they may face. So we have the Access to Career Pathways program. It's funded by the Level Up Orange grant through Orange County government, and that is specific for specialized populations, one being justice involved individuals. So what we're doing is we're doing an exploration academy, really exposing them to career exploration, engagement, experience, and advocacy. We're working with different community partners, institutions, employers. We're bringing them in to really talk to them about, hey, this is what the industry is looking like right now, putting the business in front of them so they can ask questions. Here is what are the training opportunities that they have as well. Talking to the schools firsthand to say, hey, what are the different programs that I can get into when I come out, second chance employers will hire me. So really exposing them in a 4-week setting, a cohort where you have other justice involved individuals in the room. They can share experiences to really say, I've been there as well. That's very important. And then they go through this academy. We have a job fair at the very end, and people are walking away with jobs. Some of the employers have reservations, like you mentioned earlier, but we can say, hey, if you have a reservation, we can do an internship at no cost to you. We will pay the employer. So that way you can be confident that this is someone after a 12-week internship, I'm confident that I can hire this person.
That's right, because obviously education tends to cost. So having these resources to really propel them when perhaps they're most motivated to start over again is key. So, Councilman, can you give me any insight as to what happens, inside those four walls when it comes to career training? I'm just trying to visualize the kind of programs, some that even might surprise us.
It will. When I said a few minutes ago, we talked about we didn't want to sit on our hands with the inmate farm, and we started the Second Chance Initiative. I took it one step further and partnered with Daytona State College, our local college in that area. And we started, I remember receiving the phone call and they said, I think I have a program that would fit into your program. And I said, well, what is it? And they said, well, it's an inmate welding. Well, I had a hesitation. I had reservations about that. Sure. He goes, no, it's virtual. So we actually brought some folks down and we looked at it. It's a virtual welding program. It's almost like playing a video game. And there's no actual spark. There's no materials, nothing to worry about it. And it gives them that basic training. And what that does is it doesn't certify the inmate in a welding program, but it gives them, when they do get out, it puts them at the front of the line if they decide to take that one step further and get their welding certification. As we all know, the welding field is very lucrative. So we had that program. Again, we didn't want to sit on our hands, so we partnered with Daytona State again. We started, they donated 4 barber chairs to us. We're doing an inmate barbering program. We just started, or just starting, a cosmetology program for our female inmates using the same barbering program.
That's cool.
We are doing a forklift certification program. And the reason for that is we have businesses like Amazon and things of that nature where that would come into play and be beneficial, I thought, to them. We are doing a flagger program with FDOT. You wouldn't think much that would come for individuals that were flagging and, as you're driving and they have work that's being done on the side of the road, but there's a lot of safety features that come into play.
Sure.
And so we are expanding even more. We're looking at possibly an irrigation program, maybe some HVAC, electrical, plumbing, things of that nature that we can do as well. So every day it's growing, and every day I get a phone call, hey, what do you think about this program? And our folks that are over at our jail, our director, Director DeMore, he does a phenomenal job. I would say most of all because he's patient with me, because I'm ready to get all these programs going.
Sure.
I get excited, and we have to pace ourselves. But
we really are talking about an investment here. Investment of time, an investment of money, an investment of trust. This isn't just a one-way relationship. Each party has to invest, and each party has something to gain here. So, Janae, talk to me about that trust and that relationship.
It's important to build a relationship from the beginning and to make it sustainable, because at the end of the day, we have to make sure that our customer, our job seeker, our justice involved individual has success. We're going to follow them from the very beginning. And same way on the employer side, do the exact same thing, following them, talking to them about how is that person doing at the job? What can we do to assist even after, so we can make sure that we have great retention on the job? Like you mentioned earlier, some employers, you fire people every day, but we're going to come in to make sure that that doesn't happen. We're going to follow up constantly.
Check in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's extremely important on both customer and business side.
And I'm also just thinking of the other employees who get wind, that someone who messed up is now their colleague. Is that something that comes into play here at all?
I think maybe to some degree, but also remember, these are individuals that are in your community. They are our neighbors, our family members. So they may have that connection. I had that connection, with a family member, or did. Another thing to hit on real quick is we also involved, because I thought that there was an addiction issue that maybe with some of these, their concerns, what got them in jail, so we had brought Volusia Recovery Alliance for the counseling part of that. And that became very important to me. I would say probably about a year after we started this program. My brother resided up north and he lost his life to an overdose. And I said, we need to probably bring this in as well. At the same time, Barbara Ann Hegan was already doing that. So it worked out at the same time. So when you start doing these things, it opens up the minds of others too. And they say, you know what? We have a so-and-so in our family, that could be him, and we want to give him that opportunity. What's to say that we can't give this individual the opportunity as well?
So, Janae, I'm curious to know about the government, the partnership with the government. What do you need from them? And what perhaps is working?
So, as I mentioned earlier, Orange County government has given us a grant, the Level Up Orange grant, which is really helping us push forward and bringing awareness to that academy that I mentioned earlier. So they have been instrumental in Orange County. Similarly, we've been working with Osceola County, and then many counties. We're just bringing awareness, We were able to go into the Seminole County Jail. We are at the Kissimmee Retention Center. We are at Bridges of America. So we're working with the local police departments. So again, it takes a community effort, and that we need the government to continue pushing out the awareness, and there is a need for this, and then just letting people know what resources are out there. Many people do not know what's out there, and we need our government officials to let people know. Career Source is here to help. We helped over 1,200 individuals who were justice involved last year, and 285 of them are currently working.
Wow,
some may not be working. 285. And some may not be working now because they're currently in training, because we provided scholarships for them. So a lot of people don't know of the opportunity. So I'm asking that our government continue pushing the awareness and letting people know what's going on in our community.
Who would you have to turn away?
No one. We don't turn away anyone. So we don't turn away anyone who is in need of employment can walk through our doors and receive help. Anyone.
Wow. And so, Councilman, to tell your constituents, this is an opportunity for people just to, just get the courage first, and then we just walk right in the brick and mortars, or you can start it online, right? I mean, what's the easiest way for those who are struggling right now?
So, the whole Second Chance initiative is more geared for the inmate population, but we do want to expand it to those that say have already been released and they're in that probation factor. They're still one of those individuals that was incarcerated, still having the difficulty finding the job. We will grow to that, I believe. So things like this and doing shows like this, and thank you very much, because this brings awareness to it as well. I would like to see, like I said a while ago, we started with the little mom and pop type stores, and then we worked our way up. We had some of them not show at the last job fair, but I made the comment, I turned around and I said, you know who's here? Career Source. And they were there, our local Career Source, and they open up other doors, that connectivity to other jobs that we haven't thought about yet. So doing just that, we want them to come to the next job fair. So I want to get to a room where we just have a hard time accommodating all the possibilities. When we started with 20 inmates, we went to 60. They're taking it serious. They're filling out resumes. These inmates are taking it very serious. So they will spread the word, and they will bring awareness. And we want more and more of these jobs to come to open their doors and help us find these guys employment.
And with these guys and gals, I'm sure, Janae, you have a story of one who really started off in a low place and shot up to something really cool.
Absolutely. So we do have an individual who came through our doors and needed some help. He was a referral through the state attorney's office, because we do work with Orange County State Attorney's Office. They provide referrals to us. And he came in, he was justice involved and homeless. But by the time he went through our 4-week academy, he was able to get permanent employment, now being able to provide for his daughter, and he is starting on the right path. He comes back and speaks to other people in our academy as an alumni and talks about his journey and gives encouragement to others. So he's paying it forward and letting everyone know, if I could do it, you can do it. So we see that each and every day. We see that regularly, where people just come back, and that cohort style in that academy setting, it's family. They build their own family. They're going out to eat. They're having dinner. They're keeping each other accountable. We can only do but so much by giving them the skills, but there's a community of people who want to help each other, and they know about resources, and they're telling us, hey, did you know about this? And that's what we want. That's what we want. So success after success, but that's one that I would like to share.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. To keep up with important issues impacting our communities and hear more conversations with the people who are shaping the future, subscribe to our channel. You can also download our app or find Spectrum News on your TV for balanced, in-depth political coverage and more.